Millions of people spend years searching for better health. Yet some of the most talked about natural remedies today were already being valued more than 1,400 years ago. Somewhere along the way, that knowledge quietly faded into the background. Today, researchers are studying compounds found in several of those same plants. While millions of people have never realized they were mentioned in authentic Islamic tradition. Coincidence or forgotten wisdom? One of these plants was described by the Prophet Muhammad in a way unlike any other natural remedy. Another was given with remarkably specific guidance. And the final one carries a story that has inspired reflection for centuries. Before we uncover them, there's one important truth that changes how all of these plants should be understood. So, why does any of this matter today? Because while medicine has advanced in extraordinary ways, many of us have slowly drifted away from the simple, natural habits that were once part of everyday life. Islam never teaches believers to reject treatment. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad encouraged people to seek it, while reminding them that healing ultimately comes from Allah, and that His creation contains many blessings for those who reflect. In a world shaped by processed foods, constant stress, and fast-paced living, rediscovering these plants isn't about replacing modern medicine, it's about reconnecting with a forgotten part of prophetic wisdom. I'm curious, which Sunnah remedy has been passed down in your family? But before we begin, there's one question we need to answer first. Can these remedies really be trusted today? Before we go any further, let's answer the question many people are already thinking. Are these remedies supported by authentic Islamic teachings, or are they simply popular traditions? Throughout this video, we'll focus on plants mentioned in authentic Hadith or well-established Islamic sources, while also looking at what modern peer-reviewed research has discovered about their natural compounds and potential health-supporting properties. That doesn't mean science proves faith, and it certainly doesn't mean every natural remedy is automatically safe. Correct identification, proper use, and professional medical advice remain important, especially during pregnancy, while taking medication or living with a chronic condition. And with that foundation in place, let's begin with the one plant the Prophet Muhammad described in a way unlike any other natural remedy. 1. The seed, unlike any other. Why would one tiny seed receive a description that no other natural remedy did? That question has inspired curiosity for more than 14 centuries. The Prophet Muhammad said, "In the black seed there is healing for every disease except death." This authentic hadith has been carefully studied and discussed by Islamic scholars, who explain that healing ultimately comes only by the will of Allah, while black seed is one of the beneficial means He has placed in creation. For generations, it has remained one of the most widely used remedies across the Muslim world, often taken as whole seeds, oil, or mixed with honey. Today, researchers continue investigating its natural compound thymoquinone, along with its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. While it isn't a replacement for medical treatment, and may not be suitable for everyone, especially those taking certain medications, it remains one of the most respected plants in prophetic tradition. But the next Sunnah plant isn't a seed at all. It's a fruit the Prophet Muhammad gave remarkably specific guidance about, and that guidance continues to fascinate people today. 2. Why 7 dates? Why did the Prophet Muhammad specifically recommend eating 7 Ajwa dates in the morning? For centuries, that question has fascinated both scholars and believers. In an authentic hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said that whoever eats 7 Ajwa dates in the morning will not be harmed by poison or magic that day. Muslims understand this as authentic prophetic guidance, while recognizing that protection and healing ultimately come only by the will of Allah. Grown in the blessed land of Medina, Ajwa dates became more than a nourishing food. They became part of a prophetic lifestyle, providing energy and sustenance for daily life and for breaking the fast. Modern research has found that dates are naturally rich in fiber, potassium, iron, polyphenols, antioxidants, and natural sugars that support digestion and provide steady energy. Whether enjoyed as part of a morning routine or during Ramadan, they remain one of the simplest Sunnah foods to include in everyday life. How many dates do you usually eat in a week? Because the next plant wasn't valued only as food, the Quran itself describes it as coming from a blessed tree. By now, you've probably noticed something remarkable. These weren't random plants, they were carefully preserved through authentic Islamic tradition for generations. But the next three become even more fascinating. One is described in the Quran as a blessed tree. Another has almost disappeared from everyday life. And the final one carries a story that still inspires hope more than 14 centuries later. 3. The tree Allah called blessed. Out of the countless trees on earth, why does the Quran describe the olive tree as a blessed tree? That single description has inspired reflection for centuries. In Surah An-Nur, Allah mentions the olive as a blessed tree, and the Prophet Muhammad also encouraged the use of olive oil, saying, "Eat it and apply it, for it comes from a blessed tree." Across the Mediterranean and throughout Islamic civilization, olives were valued not only as food, but also for light, skin care, and everyday well-being. Today, modern research has identified natural compounds such as polyphenols and heart-healthy fats that contribute to olive oil's reputation as an important part of the Mediterranean diet. While it isn't a cure or a replacement for medical treatment, quality extra virgin olive oil can be a nourishing addition to a balanced lifestyle when used in moderation. Take a moment and think, how often does olive oil appear in your kitchen? Because the next Sunnah remedy isn't a fruit or an oil at all, it's a remarkable root that many people have never even heard of. 4. The Sunnah remedy most people have never heard of. Some of the most valuable knowledge isn't lost because it stopped working, it's lost because people simply stopped talking about it. Qust al-Hindi is a perfect example. Although many people have never seen it, the Prophet Muhammad specifically recommended it in an authentic Hadith, mentioning that it could be used for several conditions, including pleurisy, and describing different traditional methods of application. For centuries, it traveled along ancient trade routes and became highly respected in Islamic and traditional medicine. Today, researchers continue studying its naturally occurring compounds for their antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties, particularly in relation to respiratory health. While it isn't a substitute for professional medical care and should be used correctly under appropriate guidance, especially during pregnancy or alongside medication, it remains one of the most fascinating forgotten remedies in prophetic tradition. But the next Sunnah plant is completely different. You've almost certainly seen it before. Yet very few people realize why it holds such a special place in the Quran. 5. The fruit chosen for an oath. Out of everything in creation, why does Allah begin Surah At-Tin with an oath by the fig? That question has inspired reflection for generations. While scholars have offered different explanations, the mention itself reminds us that even the simplest foods can carry extraordinary significance. For centuries, figs have been valued across the Middle East and the Mediterranean as a nourishing everyday food, enjoyed fresh and dried alike. 6. The remedy that demands respect. Not every natural remedy is meant to be used every day, and Senna is a perfect example of why the Sunnah teaches wisdom alongside benefit. In authentic narrations, Senna is mentioned among remedies that were valued in early Islamic tradition, particularly for digestive health. Today, modern medicine also recognizes Senna as a natural stimulant laxative, commonly used for the short-term relief of occasional constipation. But this is exactly where balance becomes important. Taking more doesn't make it better, and using it too often can lead to unwanted side effects. That's why Senna should always be used responsibly, following appropriate guidance, especially if you're pregnant, taking medication, or living with an ongoing medical condition. The lesson isn't simply to use natural remedies, it's to use them with knowledge, moderation, and wisdom. And the final plant on our list isn't remembered because of what it treated, it's remembered because of the remarkable story Allah connected to it. 7. The plant that appeared when it was needed most. Some plants are remembered because of what they contain. This one is remembered because of the moment it appeared. After Prophet Yunus emerged from one of the greatest trials of his life, Allah tells us in Surah As-Safat that a yaktin plant was caused to grow over him. It provided shade and became part of Allah's care for his prophet during a time of weakness and recovery. Many scholars identify yaktin as a type of gourd or pumpkin, a nourishing plant that has been valued across civilizations for centuries. Today, pumpkin is known to provide beta-carotene, vitamin A, fiber, potassium, and water-rich nutrition that supports a balanced diet. Whether enjoyed as soup, roasted, or added to everyday meals, it remains a simple reminder that nourishment is one of the many blessings Allah has placed within His creation. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson from every plant we've explored today. The value wasn't only in the plant itself, it was in recognizing the wisdom behind it and remembering that every beneficial means ultimately comes from Allah. After exploring these 7 Sunnah plants, perhaps the greatest discovery isn't found in any single seed, fruit, or leaf. It's the reminder that Allah has filled His creation with countless blessings, while teaching us to place our trust in Him above everything else. The Prophet Muhammad encouraged believers to seek treatment, benefit from what is good, and live with balance, not by chasing miracles, but by making wise choices every day. That's why these plants continue to matter, not because modern research gives them value, but because it helps us better appreciate wisdom that has been preserved for generations. Sometimes, rediscovering the Sunnah isn't about finding something new. It's about remembering something priceless that was there all along. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a little more intention than you had today, choosing foods connected to the Sunnah, not because they're fashionable, but because they remind you of timeless wisdom. One simple habit, one thoughtful choice, one meal at a time. Not expecting instant results, but appreciating the blessings Allah has placed in His creation and growing a little closer to the prophetic way of living with every mindful step. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 Sunnah plants is already part of your daily life, and which one surprised you the most? Share your family's traditions or favorite ways of using these plants in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring authentic Islamic sources alongside history and thoughtful research, consider subscribing, because we're only just beginning to rediscover the wisdom that's been with us all along.